Hey, everybody, this is crypto trading and investing where things fall apart. You come here to find out how they come together. So, today we're going to talk about trading the cycles. So, what do I mean by trading cycles exactly? Well, cycles are what we see everything in life doing. And so, I'm going to try. Oh, yeah, by the way, guys, I'm going to try out a different format for you guys here. We can go over and look at Bitcoin here. I'm going to have this in the background until I get to the part where we talk about the cycles and stuff. But yeah, so it's what we see in everything in life doing. We grow and shrink. When you get old and stuff, you start get shrinking up. Uh, Live and die, rotate around the center of a galaxy, which is rotating around the sun, which is rotating around the Earth's core, and our circulatory system is rotating around the center of our body or something like that. And atoms rotate around other atoms that rotate around smaller things, and we all rotate. Okay, I see that you get the point. So basically, what I'm talking about, there's a time and a place where assets could be increasing while another one is decreasing. Here's an example of what this looks like. A rotation looked at sideways is this. This is a parabola. Okay, it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And as you see, this is an upwards trending parabola. So if this were a circle, it would be like that as the rotation is going this way, or it could be this way. Uh, really, I don't know many things that rotate counterclockwise, but just rolling with the point you see. With that being said, if you're looking at just staying in crypto only instead of doing the other approach that I'll go more in depth with the Discord with, then there are different cycles even within this asset class, the cryptocurrency asset class. And here you see I'm on Bitstamp, not Binance or Coinbase, because they have the oldest history as far as I can tell as far as Bitcoin. For example, let's look at the most recent market cycle between Bitcoin and Cardano. So, and as you can see, from May 30th alone, okay, we're going to pull this up. I have this on the side here. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Where is it? Oh, VeChain's looking pretty good. I got a video coming out with that. It's going up a little bit. So here's Cardano. Let's turn this on because I got stuff drawn on there. And we're going to look at May 30th, as recently as May 30th, not the 28th right here, but May 30th. You see this? This includes it going up and then down. The current price of where we are. May 30th on alone, it increased 18.89%, whereas Bitcoin, we're going to go to Binance for this one. On May 30th, where are we at? 28, 29, I can count 30. It went up 2.87%. So you're outperforming Bitcoin. And to see that represented, you see that on this chart, how it's doing better than Bitcoin. When it's red, that means it's doing worse than Bitcoin. When it's green, it's outperforming Bitcoin. And that's what you're looking at, the Cardano to Bitcoin chart, ADA BTC. Okay, so let's go back here. Between now, see, it's outperformed Bitcoin by a long shot. Okay, so between that time and the time of this recording, so from May 30th to June 25th today, Cardano has increased 27%. So it's not us selling at the top. Okay, it's not us selling at the top. It was us starting with the day open here on May 30th. We didn't sell at the top or anything. We're still holding at whatever we got here. It went up 27%. Okay, whereas Bitcoin in this same time, from May 30th, right here, till today, has gone down 1%. So that is an 28% difference. Okay, perfect timing is not necessary, nor is it possible most of the time, as we don't really ever know the tops and bottoms of the markets. Okay, I know what you may be thinking. I know that's all well and nice, but how do I profit from this theory of yours? Okay, guys, I'm not giving financial advice. Obviously, got to say that. That's a disclaimer I have to say. But also, here, look, the answer is news. Well, not really news. As I tell people in my Discord, news is basically irrelevant most of the time. It's more like market sentiment. For example, After Bitcoin hit its all-time high of, let's go to Bitstamp right here so I can show you this, BTC USD. So after Bitcoin hit its all-time high, and I'm going to zoom out for this one. Actually, let's turn this to the monthly scale. Make it easier on everybody. So after Bitcoin hit its all-time high of 19, where are we at? Here we go. $19,666 on December 16th, 2017. Well, 666, I guess we should have known something there, huh? They were trying to tell us something. But after it reached the market high on that day, it dropped all the way a year later, 365 days later, December 15th, 2018, to $3,122.28. Now, this is Bitstamp. Other exchanges have it differently. Some hit 20,000, whatever, and some did not. But this is what we're using for Bitstamp. During this time, remember, the news was mainly positive. Even JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon and others came out to support Bitcoin. Remember back in that September of 2017 or something like that, Jamie Dimon called it Tulip Bulb Mania. Remember? And then he went in January, was like, yeah, apologies. Bitcoin's going to be the greatest asset of the next decade. Huh. Seems kind of suspicious. Nothing to see here, right? Not that they're trying to load you up to drop the bags on you while keep the prices down earlier. But yeah, see, market cycles work like that, okay? The masses typically will do the opposite because the masses aren't the ones that are controlling the market, okay? So with that being said, do you know how much of a drop this was from 19,666 to 31,2228? Well, I'll tell you. It was an 84.12346%. I had to do the 1, 2, 3, 4 because the way the math worked out, it was just so perfect. But it was an 84% plus drop from that time. Did any news? Let's look at the chart. Let's look at the chart on the daily so we can see the real impact. Let me pull this back. What news kept Bitcoin from tanking? Nothing. Just like nothing really. This thing was right here. It will go up and down. Just like when these market cycles, which I'll go over even in more in depth, we are within what I believe, a 16-year market cycle. Okay. There was no positive news that could have kept Bitcoin up during this time at the end of this last year of the market cycle. Just like there was no negative news that could really keep Bitcoin down while it was here. There's clues that can tell us when a market cycle is over and when it's still going on. And since we have a reference point here, that can help us. So you see, there are market cycles on the yearly, monthly, the daily, hourly, and other time frames. If you got a time scale, there is a market cycle for it, just to let you know that. We just have to keep track of it. And so here's how to profit from it, okay? So you see that Bitcoin is here, right? And remember, I went over Cardano. Let's reset this chart very quickly. Now you notice Bitcoin went here. This was the local high before that drop, okay? Now we go over to Cardano and look at how it's performed. This was the local high before the drop. It's already outperformed itself. Now this is assuming that they were at equalized rates, okay? But you can see it even on the Bitcoin chart. The localized area, it did worse than Bitcoin, and it even dropped a little bit longer. And then what did it do? It pumped. Now this is where the news, when the market sentiment and is trending up, okay? This was on a daily cycle, right? That's trending up. Then you can use the news because the news is going to overinflate it. Just like in a downwards trending cycle, if there's negative news, it should, from what I have seen, it should overly dump something. Okay. And so we are technically still in a downtrend, really. But we have, like I said, market cycles, the day, and in between a daily cycle, an hourly cycle, or whatever, can still get us at these slight uptrends here while we're still making lower highs and lower highs, lower highs, where we may transition to another one. And you can kind of tell and find it out. But remember, this is the reference point where you can go and you can switch off between Bitcoin. So this is what you want to do. So let's just say that this was Cardano's closer to yellow. Oh no, wait a minute. Cardano's not closer to yellow. I think it's blue. Huh. I can't remember what I know it's silver and white. I'm not gonna look up Cardano right now for the logo colors, but here. This is how we can profit from it. So since Cardano was the one that was dropping more, we're going to use green for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin after March 12th was going up like this. And then you still see Bitcoin doing that, and it does some of this. Let's make it smaller. So March 12th, boom, did this immediate reaction, and then it started to do this essentially. Okay. At a certain point, Cardano started to come in, and then you would switch. Now you wouldn't have it. The perfect alignment would be here, but we're not catching it there. So this is where Cardano would be going up to, but then you catch it a little bit later. So then now you're catching this uptrend for Cardano. And then there's going to come a point where you could switch back to Bitcoin into the US dollar or your local currency. And let's zoom this out. Back into Cardano. And this is how people do these. This is how the mega rich do it. They switch off between different assets. And if you're staying only in this, and this is only talking about one aspect. Oh, I can't move the screen or something? Huh. Okay, this is a weird thing right here. So yeah, I wanted to zoom in right here, but let's undo all of this. So we're going to make this a little bit bigger just to reiterate the point. I want you guys to know this. So let's say green is US dollar. So Bitcoin was dropping during that time, and we're going to go with pink for Bitcoin. That was Bitcoin. At some point during there, you might have been holding it and you said, heck no. This is where your portfolio is. Then you bought the dip somewhere. Maybe you didn't get perfect 3,000, but you got 4,500. And then your money went like this. But your money started to go like this. I'm going to make it smaller because we got a lot to go. And then you're still in Bitcoin. You're still in Bitcoin. And then you notice other alts. But let's just stick with Cardano because you could just go between your local currency. In this case, I'm going to use US dollar. Then you're going to outperform it. Now, if you only held Bitcoin at the time, this is probably what you would look like and actually go down from this date. But instead, you're catching this increase right here. And then after a certain amount of time, unless Cardano does do what I expect it to do, which would be like this, that's what you would do. Bitcoin, like I said, will either do this or it could go up slightly, but Cardano will outperform it. Then you switch off to Bitcoin. And then there's going to be a time where people take their profits and you switch off to the dollar. So that's even. You go back to Cardano because you see that it's now taken off, but you missed out on some of it. But you aren't there to be first. You're just there to make money. And then this is how you grow your portfolio. Think about this as what if this were over 1 year and you're just doing this month by month or week by week and you notice some things. You don't have to do this every day. This is a different type of day trading or different type of trading where it's not a daily trade. It's not the most sexy thing that people look at, but these are the things that allow people to make money in these cycles. These are the market cycles that we need to pay attention to. So obviously, like I said, not financial advice. I go more in depth and more in detail on the next video that I'll be releasing shortly to the Discord. So if you would like to, Discord subscribers will hear the full way on how to profit from this soon as well. Because this right here assumes no leverage. And this isn't even including shorting the market. Imagine shorting because obviously we're not getting the perfect timing. And if you're not exposed every single day, right? But you're able to look and analyze the market on a larger scale. Even if you are a day trader, there's a way that you can still analyze it on a larger scale. Once it hit this mark, which is 5 and 10s, think about it. Uh, I tell my Discord group that these things go by 5s and 10s. So if you get near a 10 multiple or a 5 multiple, so 5,000, 15,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 25,000, things like that. Once it gets up to 100,000, 5s and 10s, especially a 10,000 mark, which is kind of like the psychological barrier now, even though people have argued, oh, no, it's not one. Hey, look, it doesn't matter. As long as the mega rich whales control it as that way, and they go by these things, and they have it where it's set up a certain way so that people can come in, then that's how we go by it. I'm not here to be like, hey, you know what? Let's change the market. No, we look at things as they are. Things go by 5s and 10s. Things go in 3s, so on and so forth. So there's a way to be able to tell when you should be able to get out. This was a failed W right here, and that should have been the first sign of at least shorting. And there have been some people that shorted at 18,000 and 16,000. I wonder how many times they shorted before they got right, because they probably were wrong a few times. But also a parabola. Once you get to a certain parabola, you can tell when it breaks. So we just need to know the market. Imagine shorting here. Uh, there was a gentleman, I believe he was a teenager, that shorted at 18,000 and he closed at 4,000. He closed at 4,000. I remember it was this dump and then a second dump, and then he said he was out. So this isn't even talking about that. If you want to find out that information, look at the description below for the cost of the Discord and how to join. Okay. And the email that you have. Otherwise, just continue. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So let me continue here. So continuing on with this market cycle bit, we have to take into account that we are in the cycle that we're in. Okay. And so I'll give a small hint so we can be left aligned in our cycle. Let's erase all of this here. So with market cycles, let's say that we're here, right? Okay. And then we have another market cycle for the same asset class. Okay. Now, the difference between these two is that let's just say that every block this far is a different cycle between that. And it's an average of somewhere between 57 and let's just say 100 days, even though that's not the real one. I'm not here to talk about the real one, but let's just say the market cycle is the numbers 55 and 100. So that can be 55 and 100 minutes, 55 and 100 days, months, years, whatever. Okay, because we do have an overall yearly cycle too. And people have been looking at those for the traditional stock market and everything like that because it's so old and so many years. So with that being said here, this is an upwards trend one. You know why? Well, if the halfway point, the midpoint approximately, if there's another high afterward, this has been established as an upper trend. You determine the cycles by the lower part, right? But you determine if you're in an upper trend from like the from the high. So you know what cycle or whatever you're in. So if this is a 4-year cycle, right? Between here, this is the first 4-year cycle. Here's the second one. Here's the third one. What'll happen is in the third one, you notice how these take a lot farther to get along in this cycle. But on this last 4-year cycle, this is what happened because it's a 16-year cycle. This will happen right here. This is the zoomed in version of what this is. It looks like it's going to go up and then boom, boom, boom. So instead of taking 3 years up, 1 year down, 3 years up, 1 year down, 3 years up, 1 year down, it's going to be within a few months, very soon after this, actually. It might even be closer. It won't even fully dip, and then it'll look like it's going up. Then it'll hit that, and then this is essentially what it will do. it will do something like this, and then boom, and it may even go lower than well, it'll go lower than the established low here, and it may hit one of the other cycles. Okay, that's how you know you're out, and then it's going to hit lower lows. It may not revisit the ultimate lows. Okay, because that seems a little bit unreasonable, but anything is possible. But that's typically what we would see there. I drew a head and shoulders. So let's look at Bitcoin. Let's go back over to the Bitstamp chart, BTC USD. We're going to just click the exchange Bitstamp, and we're going to look at these. And I'm going to show you these cycles on the monthly, not fully though. Reset this. Okay. Now you notice here, the other cycle, and this is how we can predict about the time. So I'm thinking the all-time high from my perspective of if we are actually in a 16-year cycle, and these are many 4-year cycles, somewhere between fall and winter of 2021 to first quarter of 2022. And obviously there's going to be some quote unquote news that coincides with this. That's where it's always going to be some reason that things have to drop, even though that's not really the reason, that's the excuse. Okay. Setting everybody up, it butters you up and puts you in that oven. That's what they're doing. They're buttering you up just so they can slaughter you. That's what these things are. Okay. You can see it at Tesla when it was on its route the first time to 900. You can see it on other things. So we can take out here. Okay, there we go. And this was me going over a daily cycle with some of the students before. I'm just going to leave it there. But this was the cycle low right here. This was December of 2018. If we go back, this is going to match up almost 4 years to the dot. Remember, 48 months is 4 years. So this is 48 or 47. So it's 1 month away. And the technicality was literally 1 day. It was December. And then the next day, I think January 1st or 2nd, or maybe it was 2 days or something like that. So it was almost a year. I mean, 4 years to the dot, but it was literally a few days off. So this was almost a perfect 4-year cycle. 3 years up. Let's see if this is, it's probably going to be 35 instead of 36 months. 35. So 35 months, and then you got the other 12 months down. Same thing here. It's so crazy how these things match up, don't they? If you know how to do market cycles. So if you want to know more about that, and we don't have the full data here on this one, if I'm not mistaken, I saw that whole thing, and it was somewhere around here, maybe 49 months. And then the same thing, we're leading up. So this one would have been a shorter one technically, but 2011 was somewhere around that time. So this is just the best chart I could come up with now for this video. But if you want to know more about how to profit from these, where we're thinking about how do we measure where the high is, that's what I'm coming out with the full course pretty soon with my Discord. And just look at the description below. And for now, let me check my notes here to see if we have that. Nope, this is all I have for this video. So you know what? If you like the content, click subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, and definitely share with others. We need more and more people to see this information, because as more people see this information, less of these people overall will get wrecked, and we'll have more regular people making money, and not just the mega rich that just control more and more. And so in the next video, I'll be talking about VeChain. And actually, I think I'm about to just record that right now. So catch you all in the next video.